You need to have a way to be able to check in with your team. Unlike if you guys were face to face or in the same office, when you're working remote, it's a little bit harder to catch any facial cues or any physical cues. Hey guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Now my goal is that at the end of this video is to be able to walk you guys how you can be successful when it comes to managing a remote team online. Now if this is your guys' first time on my channel, my name is Lai Lacaba. I have been working from home since I was 15 years old and now run my own outsourcing agency in the Philippines. And I post videos every Sunday on how to work from home and every Thursday on how to have an online business. So make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos. Now for this video specifically, this was actually requested by one of our clients of like, what are the things that if I wanted to grow my team, if I wanted to go from where I have now, where I have an assistant, and I actually want to start growing that into having a team, what would be the main things that I need to look out for? And I wanted to just make this video so then it's easy if you're someone who is considering that as well. You can have kind of like a sneak peek of what are the usual pitfalls or mistakes that people make and how to succeed when it comes to having a team online. Now, the first thing that you want to make sure that you have when you're growing a remote team is communication loops. Now, what I mean by that is you need to have a way to be able to check in with your team. Unlike if you guys were face to face or in the same office, when you're working remote, it's a little bit harder to catch any facial cues or any physical cues that something's wrong. It's harder to tap and ask someone else for, advice or work because we have no idea what their workload looks like. So when you have communication loops, for example, within our company, we have daily reports, we have weekly agendas where we set the goals for the week, and we also have monthly coaching check. So with those communication loops, it might sound a lot, but it actually helps us work a little bit better, especially with different assistants working with different clients, for us, like as the management team, to make sure that they are on track, that they're not stuck on something. Because a lot of the time, if you only check in once in a while, your employee might be stuck on something for so long, but because they haven't been able to talk to you about it, or there wasn't a avenue for it to talk about it, then they might just be spinning within themselves for something that would take you 5 minutes to solve. So that's why setting up communication loops between you and your team is so essential, because then you're setting up for success. You're making sure that things are clear, because chances are if they are already empowered, they know what to do next, those meetings are probably just going to be like 5 minutes long, and I've had those meetings. So encouraging talking, encouraging having a time for check-ins is so essential. Right now, even with our bigger team, we still have a 30-minute time every week where we check in on where everyone is at. That way, again, there's no getting stuck. There's no feeling also of loneliness that you're the only one figuring this out. And it also is a really great way to be able to share problems and be able to solve them together. Next thing that you want to make sure that you have as a system or as a way of working is a way to create systems or a way to create documentation. Now, I've already created a whole video on how to create a standard operating procedure, which then actually walks your employees through like kind of like a checklist or a recipe of how to get things done in your company. The reason why you want to make sure that you have this when it comes to having a remote team is because you want to make sure that results are repeatable and not dependent on one person. So what I mean by this is people will get sick, people will want to go on vacation, people will have emergencies where things have to be paused. Having things documented ensures that things keep moving forward. For example, let's say your social media person has to go on a week leave. If there wasn't a way that she documented what it was that she did every day, it's going to be harder for you to train someone as a temporary replacement for that person if there wasn't like an already set of documentation. So again, it could be I call it usually recipes, or I call it like a checklist where you just have like a very good step-by-step process of how to get from point A to point B. Next mistake that I usually see when it comes to having a remote team is not having filters, or basically not having good standards to know if they're going to be a good employee or not. So within our company, the biggest filter that we have is our own values. All of our assistants are measured against our 5 values, which is basically being passionately curious, being being a systems ninja, being kindly confident, being constantly growing, and someone who wants to be part of a group of really amazing people. So those are our filters that if people fail to meet those values, we know that they're not going to work with us in the long run. Working remote really works well if it makes sense for them to keep working together rather than being too individualistic and doing their own thing. They're coming together and helping each other out, even if they're working on different projects. Next thing that you can do to ensure that you have an amazing remote team is giving a space where they can talk to each other and be able to kind of just be friends or be able to make friends. So I already talked about this a little bit about having communication loops where people can talk to each other. The other thing that you want to make sure is within those meetings that you have is you make space for people to share their wins, be able to share what it is that they're learning, and be able to share what it is that they're currently working on. This way it kind of builds a little bit of camaraderie when it comes to having this team of people who are not seeing each other in an office feel a little bit less lonely. When it comes to working online, this is the number one complaint that I've gotten from a lot of freelancers is they feel like working online is really lonely, which then of course puts down morale, which then kind of where you kind of start having problems when working with employees. So try to have like virtual parties or have like virtual coffees where people can talk to each other outside of just what they're working on. The next thing that you want to make sure that you have in your remote company or remote team is just access to tools and support. What I mean by this is you have a way for them to be able to get the right tools that they need to keep moving forward. You are supporting them in the best way by giving really good feedback. You are helping them, you're basically building them up so they can keep growing inside of your company. A lot of the time, things that slow down a project or a team is just really the lack of the right tools to keep moving forward. You know, you might have a tool right now that you're using that takes 5 minutes to upload an Instagram post, for example, versus just using this one quick tool that actually uploads it in 2 minutes. So finding those small shortcuts or better and better tools every time helps your team, and also giving them that support, that encouragement to keep going. Working online remotely does have a lot of differences versus having it in office, but if you work on those 5 things, you will be able to have a better foundation once you actually start building your own remote team. Now, if you guys like this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button right there and comment below what are the things that you wish you would see more when it comes to having a remote team. Now, if you guys still haven't yet, make sure to hit the subscribe button right there so you don't miss any of my videos every Sunday on how to work from home, which you can check out right here, and how to have a remote business, which you guys can check out right here, and the latest video right here. And I hope you guys have an awesome day, and remember that small steps matters, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!